What's up? I'm April, your not so typical host of the Rodeo Fame Mental Game podcast. This is the Smarty's Young Pro Mentorship Edition. To learn more about Smarty and their mentorship program, visit smartytraining.com. This podcast is all about real meaningful conversations with people about living life with purpose, how to squeeze every bit of meaning out of sucky situations, because we all have them. Discussions about what real success looks like, and breaking down those ugly mental blocks. Let's start with a quote from American professional football coach Bill Belichick, who coached for the New England Patriots. He said, "Mental toughness is doing the right thing for the team when it's not the best thing for you." Thank you, Bill. Now let's jump in and meet our guest. So we're going to jump into introductions. We have Emma Ray here with us. She's the Young Pro. She's on the Young Pro team. She was born June 25th, 2005 in Galesville, Alabama. Her main events are team roping and breakaway. She plans to graduate high school and attend Tarleton State University with an agricultural communications degree. And from there, she wants to work as a communication specialist with the companies such as Smarty or an American Angus Association. We hope you picked Smarty. She is going to be successful in whatever she does because she has a no quit attitude. And that is from Smarty, because we have watched her personally. And a little bit about Joseph. He's a 5-time world champ. Well, not world champion yet, but a Wrangler National Finals rodeo qualifier. He's graduated from Roth, Oklahoma High School in 2006 with a class of 29 students. He's earned his associate's degree in ag science from Northeast Texas Community College from Mount Pleasant, Texas. He describes his roping style as faster than most ropers since he tends to throw faster. His favorite movie is Lonesome Dove, and Why Do We Love Him So Much? Per Alan Bach, 30-time NFR qualifier and the founder of Smarty, Joseph's horsemanship is superior to most top ropers because he worked for the best of the best trainers in the world. He started at the bottom and advanced to the very top and hasn't allowed that to change his personality at all. He is humble. He's approachable, and he is still appreciative, and he is a very good role model for kids. So thank you both for being with us today.
Because that's also my birthday is on June 25th.
Really?
My birthday is June 25th.
I'm going to have to tell my mom that because she's a huge fan, and that just made me the favorite child.
All right. Well, we're going to jump into the icebreaker. We were going to do rock, paper, scissors. This is 3 rounds, okay? So let's go. Round 1, ready, set. We got to see your hands up here on the screen. Set, go.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, come on, man.
What'd you have?
Scissors.
Oh.
Okay, that doesn't count. Next.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh.
What is that? What do you have? Oh, she
Paper.
got you. Okay, this right here. No, this is the 3rd one.
Good.
Paper.
Ready?
Yeah. Ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
I got rock.
He got you. So last one right here for this is the finals.
This is the short round.
The short round. Oh, I always choke at the short round. Dang it.
Here we go.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh, I got paper
What
too.
the heck?
Man, okay, last one, and then I'm calling it.
All right.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh,
Oh, okay, you guys are equally awesome. Good job. Okay, so that was the first one. Okay, let me ask you, do you guys both like Thanksgiving food?
yes.
Okay, well, good. Then we'll do this one. Okay, this is a quick 1-minute deal. Okay, it's called This or That, all right? So first you answer, Emma, and then you answer. Turkey or ham?
Ham.
turkey.
Apple pie or pumpkin pie?
Apple pie all the way.
Pumpkin pie.
Man, y'all are turkey trot or sit on the couch? Do you know what
Sit on
turkey
the
trot?
couch. I don't know what a turkey trot is, so I'm gonna go with sit on the couch.
I actually don't know what a turkey trot is either. Sit on
I'm
the
with Emma because I'm feeling lazy.
Yeah. I don't know that I want to run anywhere unless I'm on a horse. So,
That's good. Football or a parade?
oh, football, 100%. Go Dogs.
Or what?
Or the parade? Would you rather
Oh,
go watch
definitely
football?
football.
Homemade cranberry sauce or canned cranberry sauce?
Homemade, 100%. I'm from Alabama.
I agree.
Dinner or dessert?
Dessert.
Most definitely.
Dressed up or sweatpants?
Well, can we risk, can we go with blue jeans, because I'm a jeans kind of girl.
Yeah, blue jeans, no sweatpants.
I'm pretty much in the same attire all the time, baby.
Home cooked or takeout? That's easy.
Home cooked.
Yeah.
Stuffing or mashed potatoes?
Oh, stuffing.
You don't like either, Emma?
Mm-mm.
No. Thanksgiving dinner or leftovers?
Leftovers, because they're always better at like the next day.
I agree.
Good. That was good. Okay. Now we're going to jump into 5 questions from Emma. Are you ready for this, Joseph? All right.
Yep.
All you.
You got your thinking cowboy hat on, because I got some good ones.
Well, let's get serious here. She did some good ones.
Okay, so being at the top of the totem pole in the rodeo world, there's lots of pressure from the people around you. How do you prepare for an important run without it getting to you mentally?
Well, Emma, I think that what we have to do as competitors is just do what we do for each run. I can't put any more emphasis on one run than I do another run, or I feel like I will change some of the things that make me what I am, or make what I do work. So I feel like I have to do pretty much the same thing, and that's keep my mind sharp and occupied with the task at hand, but at the same time don't put too much into it to where I'm overthinking it or I'm overdoing it.
Okie doke. So, what do sponsors look for out of you inside and outside of the arena?
I think professionalism and I think courteous is a good word for it. I think that I think the people that sponsor us and give us the help that we need to do what we need to do, I think that what we can do for them is not make their product look bad by, number one, not being courteous to others and not having a good attitude inside or outside the arena. And then obviously the better we do, the more that their product is seen and liked. But
Right.
for me, I've had several guys tell me that I'm approachable and that I'm able to talk to them about the product or things like that. And that's why they like it, is because people will talk to me because I'm approachable.
Okay, so this is one of my personal favorite questions, because everybody has a different definition of success. So how has your definition of success changed throughout your career?
I'm gonna say with the horses, the most, the better horseman I became, the better my horses got. Therefore, the better job I could do on their back and the more consistent. So I don't know if I'm answering that question the right way, but that's what I would say. The better my horses got, the better that I got, and the more together that we became. And it's I in my opinion, I don't think that I am the rope hand that Junior Nagara is, or Jade Corkle. But I feel like if I have my horse doing as good or better than theirs, and I'm in time and I'm in tune with my horse, that I've got a chance at doing as good as they do. And if they stub their toe, then I'm going to do better than them. That's the way I feel.
So your definition of success for you personally is being one and in time with your horse instead of putting as much emphasis as some do on what your loop actually looks like?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I love that. So how do you balance your professional life, your family life, and your walk with Christ? And how does it impact you?
You know, I try to surround myself with good people. Um, I always try to hang out with good people, and um, try not to put myself in situations to where I'm forced to make decisions that I don't want to have to make. So, and that being said, um, I chose the woman that I chose, my wife, because she's good for me and the people around her. And I choose the friends that I hang out with at the functions, at the rodeos and the ropings, because they're all the time trying to build you up and not tear you down. And there's a huge part of it, I think. When you have a question and you go right to one of the people that you ask questions, your buddies, uh, I think it's important for them not to steer you wrong.
Absolutely.
So that's what I try to do for me is put myself in a crowd of good people and good relationships.
Got you. So another one of my more favorite questions, because everybody can Google just your name and find out how successful you are. We all know who you are. But what do you consider your biggest loss and why? And what did you change to overcome it? When you were at your lowest, what did you do as a human to get out of that rut?
Um, well, I would like to tell you that my biggest loss would come from missing a steer or something of that nature, but um, that wouldn't be it, because I don't see that as a loss. Um, I've missed some steers for a lot of money and done a bad job for a lot of money, and you have to be able to shake that off. That can't be a factor. Um, I'll tell you about one of my biggest losses. Uh, would have been uh, a very good friend of mine when I was a kid, and it took me it took me to a rough patch, to a rough place, and because I couldn't understand it. Um, I see I see bad people do bad things, and get away with it, and no repercussions, and nothing happens to them. And then I see my buddy, and I'm not going to name his name because there's a chance of his folks listening to this and it'd tear him up. So, but anyway, he was a very, very good young man, and I really enjoyed him as a kid. He was always so much older than the rest of the kids. He was a little bit like me, um, and we had so much in common that he was he was just such a good hand. He was a lot of times the best hand at the function, no matter what we were doing. If we were at a ranch rodeo or if we were at a horse show, it didn't matter. He was the best hand there, and he was very elegant about the way he did everything, the way he talked to people. And when I lost him, I almost quit even doing any of it. Uh, and I did for a little bit, you know. And he, but it made me realize that the most fun that he and I had together was horseback and teaching those horses things and learning from them and learning from each other. And I catch myself all the time while I'm riding a young horse or I'm doing something with him. And so every time I win on one of those horses that was maybe a trouble horse or a problem horse or something, and I get him past that point and I do good on him, it makes me think of my buddy and how proud I was to have him.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome. I was hoping to get an answer like that. So I have one more. I was only supposed to ask 5, but I have 6. So who was Joseph Harrison before you were Joseph Harrison? What did your school life look like? And what did you do when you were in high school rodeo wise? And when you outside of the arena, who is Joseph Harrison?
Well, so I attended Rolfe High School. I played baseball and basketball as a younger kid, and I loved baseball. I'm a baseball fan, and so we played ball a lot. And I had some good friends in school that played ball real good. I didn't play baseball as good as I wish I could have, but it was a lot of fun for me. I went to roping early in life because my family all roped, and it was a kind of a way for us to just kind of all be together. Everybody got together in the practice pen pretty much every night, and that was what I liked the best. So I just pursued it more. And honestly, we just roped for fun a lot when I was a kid. My dad and my uncle both, they roped pretty good when I was a kid, and they won pretty good. But I didn't ever really want it to be about winning. I just liked it because it was fun and I wanted to rope. And then it turned into more, as we got into, later in the high school, those kids, like we didn't have much, my family wasn't well off by any means. And it was hard for me a little bit because I would see, we would go to the high school rodeos and stuff, and I would see those big rigs and nice fancy rigs and think, man, what would it be like to have one of those, And but honestly, the horse deal prevailed for me a lot when I was a kid, even because I had a really, really nice bay mare when I was a kid, and a pretty good sorrel gelding. He wasn't as fancy as the bay mare was, but she got me a lot of recognition as a horseman early because of how fancy she was and how broke she was. And she was a really nice mare. I'll forever be in her debt. But the more that we roped and rodeoed, and the better that we got, then it became competitive about winning. And it almost got to the point to competitive about winning. And I'll tell you this, that I quit for a couple of years. 2010, January 1st, 2010, they raised me to a 10. I'd never made the finals. And I had 2 or 3 really nice horses. And I just decided, you know what, man, this is getting out of hand for me. It's not the direction I wanted to go. I just want to train some nice young horses. So I'd worked for Bobby Lewis when I was a kid and a little younger. And I just called him and told him, hey, I want to come back to work. I'm going to live there at the ranch and ride some young horses and show for you. So we did. And I wound up being there for almost 11 years. But what got me back going again was one of those horses again. I had a yellow, a Palomino with a snow white mane and tail that I sold to Bobby Harris. This is kind of the last one that Bob Harris rode that he won quite a bit on. We called him Ted. Anyway, Bobby, he told me, he said, man, you got to get going. You got to take off and ride this horse at some rodeos and stuff. Like, he's the real deal. So I did. I kind of got the amateur rodeoing again, and it kind of got me back pumped about going because of that horse. So I would say that everything that I do in team roping, it has a lot to do with the horse part of it. The horse, I'm a horse guy, and I like to be able to ride in the arena on one that's pretty fancy, that's real broke, and sure enough does it when I rope on him. I'm showing him off the whole time, and not me, if that makes any sense.
That makes total sense.
That's the part about it that I love. Is I'll tell you my goal while we're talking about it. My goal when I started rodeoing professionally to the PRCA was never, my actual goal was never to get a gold buckle. And I'm not saying that I wouldn't really like to have one, but at the same time, my goal was one night, one performance. That's all I need. I want to have it to where there's at least over half of the perf that are my heel horses. That's my goal. So one night, at some point in the next years to come, I would like for there to be 8 out of the 50 heel horses at the Thomas and Mack one night, or at the NFR, no matter where it's at, that came from me. That would be it for me. I could quit that day, no problem.
You know, coming from a kid who I started late, I've been rodeoing since my freshman year, and coming from a kid who doesn't have the fanciest rig and does not ride the nicest horses, but genuinely just ropes for fun. And that was the reason I asked you that question, because for kids like me and my sister who are going to be listening to this podcast or video, whatever it's going to be, that's really inspiring coming from somebody who is so high up and so well known. And that is actually one of the things that I admire most about you, just from watching and listening. And my mom too, she's a huge fan. But you are so admirable and approachable. I feel comfortable having a conversation with you, not just because you're, oh my gosh, Joseph Harrison, but because you're Joseph Harrison. And yes, you can ride and you can rope, but you're also a good person at heart, and you want to see everyone else succeed.
Right.
And
Well, I appreciate that, because that is the way I look at it.
The reason I asked you that question was because I know that kids like me are going to be listening to this, and it's inspiring to hear something so humble from somebody like you.
Yes, I agree.
I appreciate that.
You guys both did awesome. Now it is, Joseph, it's your turn. The 3 life lessons, maybe something you've learned in your life that you can share with Emma.
Oh man, 3 life lessons. Well, as a cowboy kid that grew up ranches and things like that, it all plays in. The older we get, it's the same. And it's kind of funny for me, because when we were a kid, it was all superstition sounding to me. But it was at the same time, as the older I get, the more it makes sense. We used to say never ride in front of the boss's horse while we were day working, ranching and stuff. You never ride in front of the boss's horse, always behind him. And it's not necessarily because you cut the boss off. It's that he's the man that writes the checks, and he's who we're working for. So he needs to be in the front of the pack telling us where to go and what he wants out of us. So
Like
if you're in front of him, yes, ma'am. It basically what it is a respect for the boss. The next thing that kind of sticks out to me is bad deals. I try to treat people how I would like to be treated in business and in life. Uh, if you're fixing to do something that's going to impact somebody else that you wouldn't like to be done to you, then don't do it. I did one time make a trade that I knew was not going to be good for another guy. And I could have done it another way, but it was real easy to do the way that I did it. And instantly I regretted it. Uh, to this day, uh, and the guy that it all happened to and everything, he and we're still buds today. And I could still call on him. And it's just because he's a good guy. And he knows that I realized that I shouldn't have traded just like that. But since then, um, man, I look at horse trading and business from a little bit different standpoint, as far as I want everybody to win when we trade, no matter if this guy over here, if he only wins a little bit, but this guy over here, he wins a lot. As long as everybody's winning when we trade, that's the best way to do it.
Absolutely.
And I guess the third thing is, um, would be totally off topic of roping or any of that. Um, you need to pick when you're uh, prowling, so to speak, for a life partner, somebody to go through life with. Don't take that decision lightly, because if you mess up, you just mess up. I mean, there's second chances at this deal, but at the same time, if you do it right the first time and you get the right one the first time, number one, you don't have to do it again, and number two, you guys would be able to feed off of each other. That's the best thing about my relationship that I have, I'll tell you, with my wife, is uh, she may not go everywhere with me, but she's the first phone call that I get when it goes good or bad. Doesn't matter, good or bad. She's the first phone call that I get, or the first one that I make if I hadn't talked to her yet. It's always a relieving thing for me when it goes bad. Then she's right there. I can talk to her and talk about it, and she never belittles me or never makes me feel like I did a bad job. She's always looking for a way for something to have went wrong that wasn't my fault. Um, and that'll make you feel good, and it'll also keep you from dwelling on that particular thing that went wrong. Um, and at the same time, I can't wait to get her on the phone or see her in the stands when we did good, so and that goes along with everything as far as life and business. And I'll tell you this, um, your relationship with someone will be way more business than you think. Um, so while you're picking your person out, um, they need to be good at business, because a relationship is about 85% business, and being able to interact with each other and not let the money or the trials and tribulations of the day be a problem for you guys. So that would be my third thing, I think, is a good life partner.
That's really good advice. So the thing that we want to end with as far as questions is a core question, and that is, what gives you the most purpose in life, Joseph?
I'd have to say it all goes back to team roping, whether it be the horse part of it or the kids part of it. Or I love to see young people that want to work hard, uh, because and I said this in I think a podcast maybe with you guys a while back. I had a young man ask me a question that it really hit home for me because uh, he said, that his family was, they struggle and they have trouble to get by. And he can't really afford to go out and buy a good horse. And so the one that he's got is just kind of a horse and he's doing his best to learn on it, but they're kind of learning together. And that's the part for me that I think that some kids get carried away worrying about what the kid next to them's family has, and they can be able to buy them nicer things and because they can afford it. Because my people didn't have much. I can tell you that my very first rig, I bought it myself with money that I worked for and won. And I give $900 for an old 85 model Chevrolet that was 3 colors of blue. And I had a 2-horse bumper pull trailer. She was not pretty at all, but she could get me to the little jackpots down the road and over to some people's places that I needed to go to learn from. And we couldn't afford to buy nice horses. So I had to learn how to make my own. And it was a lot of work, man. It really was. And almost some days enough work where by the time we get done, it's like, wow, is this really worth it? But to me, it was. And I just kept my head down and kept moving and kept working hard at it until it finally started paying off. And once it started paying off, it was even more so like it lit a fire under me. Hey, I can do it if I'll just stay hooked. And there's been times when I had, and I hate saying this because it sounds corny, but there were some times at college where I had to buy horse feed and hay and go hungry a couple of days. Sometimes it's harder, but that's what I wanted to do. So I did it, and you can. Thankfully, now I've been at it a long time and I've worked hard and I have some really good people in my life and good sponsors and some really good horses, and they keep me from going hungry, and that's amazing. I love it. It's a vicious circle, but I think what my advice to all young people is no matter whether you have nothing or you have everything, doesn't matter. You still got to earn it. You still got to work hard for it. If you don't work harder than the next guy, regardless of what you have, money wise or things, if the next guy works harder than you, he's going to do better than you. That's my feelings.
That's really good. That's really good. Well, thank you guys for being on the Rodeo Fame's Mental Game podcast. And one of the things that we want to start doing from here on out is it's something called tag. So we would like you, Joseph, to tag somebody that has really tough mental game. They don't necessarily have to be on the pro team or even a roper, but an athlete that's really tough mentally that you feel like would come on a podcast with us and share with us what they've learned. Who would you tag?
So he is a Smarty Pro team member and he is a roper and he is one of my better friends. But I don't think that anybody in team roping has a tougher mental game than Paul Eves. He takes everything in stride, the bad with the good. Paul's he's one of them guys that can be struggling himself and stop what he's doing and help you if he sees you struggling or if you're asking questions about you struggling. And most guys wouldn't. A lot of guys would be like, hey man, I'm doing all I can do myself. I'm struggling myself. When I get back going, I'll do what I can to help you. But as of right now, I'm in my own mind. But Paul, he sees what you're doing, and he's been watching you rope for however long and watching you ride or watching your horses work. And he knows that he can help you immediately just by saying a little something about what you have going on and let you fix it and you're back off again. And he's one of them guys like it. And I'll tell you, he's the first one that I talk to if I'm struggling or I send videos or we get together and rope, or he's I think he's as good a coach as he is a roper.
That's awesome. Awesome.
I have a really big fan that wants to say hi with me.
Hi.
This is my sister,
Hey,
who is also going to apply to be a Smarty Young Pro. She's been sitting in here listening the whole time. So
right on.
I just wanted her to give the opportunity to say hi as well.
This has been absolutely awesome. I have listened to every word, and this is awesome.
Well, that's good, girls. And I'll tell you this, there'll be guys in you girls' area that do a good job with a horse, or they do a good job roping, and you don't just get fixated on the way that one person does what they do. If I had advice for you girls, I'd tell you to do a little bit of what I did. I lived with several different guys when I was a kid. Richard Stowers, Bobby Lewis. I had a good opportunity to be around Robbie Schroeder for a good long time. And all those guys are real good horsemen, and they all roped good in their own way. But I was able to take bits and pieces from their horse program or the way that they did what they did with a rope and put it all into one. I lived as a kid with Howard McFarland, and Howard and Lance McFarland, both of them ride a horse real good, very good hands on a horse. So I was able to take a lot of different people's knowledge and stack it into one pile, and then use on each horse what I needed out of that. So gain all the knowledge you can. Don't be afraid to ask questions. If you see somebody doing something to a horse, as long as they're not red-faced and fighting mad, walk over there and ask them, hey, how come you're doing what you're doing? And if they can't, some of them won't be able to tell you. And if they can't, then that's okay. But if they can tell you, oh, well, he was doing this, and this is why I'm doing this to him to counter that. And so that's the way a lot of us get to learn, is by asking questions and visual, watching somebody. I'm a very visual person. You can tell me what to do 30 times and I might eventually get it. But if you show me twice, I can do it. So don't be afraid to ask questions. If you got somebody by you that rides good or ropes good, call them. Get their number from somebody that knows them. Drive up in their driveway and go hang out with them. Don't be afraid to do those things. I really enjoy when somebody wants to learn. I will hang out with them all day. So if you really want to learn and you want to do better, don't be afraid to ask questions and go hang out with people.
I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. To hear more from Rodeo Fame, visit us at rodeofame.com and see what other podcasts we have. Rodeo Fame is a different kind of fame. We're all about using our influence to make an impact in the world. We want to promote unity in our industry and protect the future of our Western lifestyle. The cowboys and cowgirls are really using their influence right now to help stop human trafficking. If you guys want to find out how to get involved, visit us again at rodeofame.com. Until next time.